Hello, hello, hello. It's Neil from Clever Property Investing again, and this is the second of the set of videos I promised to publish covering the topics that my current clients have asked me to cover. Just before I get started though, I just want to emphasize that this is only a short video, a kind of an entry, an example, a little bit of an insight into what you need to learn as a property investor and things that you need to be able to do competently and with good skill sets. It's not a full-on training course by any manner of means. The stuff that I teach and we teach about this is a good 2-day training course. But what I did want to do is just give you something that was useful to give you an idea of what you need to understand. But remember, this is not the full training and this isn't everything that you need to know. This is just a great insight of some of the points that might be useful. So today's session was about talking to agents and talking to auctioneers, which is essentially agents as well, the same sort of thing, because you tend to have the company that's doing the auctions tend to be associated with an agent, or it's an agency that's decided to set up their own auction, and it's basically the sales agents that are you're dealing with most of the time. There are circumstances where you're not, and there are some circumstances where you're dealing with a company that just does auctions and might be a different scenario. But without a doubt, for you to view the property, you're going to have to meet an agent. So dealing with sales agents or working with sales agents, it's not about dealing with them, it's about working with them. And it's getting a great relationship, a great rapport to be able to work together and to have them to come to you with deals that may have just come on the market or property deals that have been hanging around that maybe you can get a good deal on, you can get a good reduction in price on, and really working together. Now, you are going to have to see quite a few agents before you get to the point where you've got 1, 2, maybe 3, if you're lucky, on board that are your go-to agents or you're their go-to agent investor when they've got something. Because there are stats out there that show that if you take a group of people, 100% of people, 30% of those people will not like you. No matter what you do, and you know this is true when you meet other people, if you think about meeting, I don't know, 5 or 10 people, you're probably not going to like at least 2 or 3 of those people that you've met. Now, it's not something that you can do anything about, and it's not something to worry about. It's just something about that person you don't like. And it's the same for you. You're going to meet agents, you don't like them, 30% of them, and 30% of them will not like you. So if you're going to look at agents, you need to find a number of agents before you can get a couple that will work with you well. Again, 30% of the agents will love you. They'll like you. They'll enjoy working with you. There'll be something that's subconsciously there that they just enjoy being in your company, or they enjoy talking to you. They enjoy your attitude towards business, etc., etc. Those are the 30 we're looking for. Those are the 30%ers we're looking to work with. And of course, you've got the remainder that aren't here or there. They take you or leave you. Same with you. You meet people, you don't dislike them, you don't really like them, but they're just people that are in your environment or your life or whatever. So remember, we need to look at quite a few agents before we get to those 30% of agents. Let's say we go and meet 10 agents, we might find 3 of those agents that we can end up working with. That's normal. So don't think every agent you come across, you're going to be able to work with. Some of those agents that you work with, now I'm not talking about the 3 or the 3 of the 10 that you've decided to work with, the 30% that you've decided to work with. But some of those other agents that you meet will be great. Some will be not so great, and some will be sort of target driven. So you'll get ones that will be on the ball. When they're talking to you, they'll give you all the information. They won't be trying to upsell you. They won't be trying to convince you to buy the property at a higher price than perhaps it's worth. Those agents are possibly target driven, and they're really trying to get the best price they can for their customer or their vendor. Now, sales agents are supposed to do that. That is their job. They're supposed to work for the seller, the vendor, and they're supposed to be getting the best price, which is understandable. If you were selling your property, you want that agent to work hard for you. Again, in that environment, not all agents are equal. So some agents may just be looking for an easy shortcut. You might be their easy shortcut. They've got properties to sell. They've got somebody over here who is a investor or somebody who's looking for properties to sell. Easy matchup, no problem at all. Now, becoming that person that they go to is important. Remember though, some sales agents are there just to get more and more money for the property that they can. So when you make an offer, they're instantly going to be pushing it up. Now, they're driven by targets. Some are driven by commission. Not all agents are on commission, but some are driven by commission. So they may well get a percentage of the sales price as a bonus when they sell a property and it completes. So remember that as well. Some agents, and some that I've worked with, are salaried only. They don't get a bonus. They don't get that kind of extra money if they sell the property. So to them, it's neither here nor there whether they sell the property, but it is important to them that they have work with people that they like to work with. And that's where you want to be in that scenario. You don't want to be working with the agents that are just constantly trying to get higher and higher prices, not working with you, not giving you the genuine information that you need. So what is the genuine information that you need? Well, you need to understand why the seller's selling. Now, again, some agents may know that, they may not know that. Good agents should know all that information. Bad, lazy agents will probably not know that information, and you asking them, they'll be making things up. They'll be assuming what's going on with the seller, so you don't know for sure. So a good agent will be able to tell you, well, they're selling this property because they're downsizing. They want to go to a smaller property, or they're selling this property because they're moving in with family, or they're selling this property because it's being repossessed, or they're in debt. Whatever the reason is, they should know that, because as a good sales agent, they should have talked to them a few times before they got them on board and understand their circumstances. That's the information that you need to know, because if you're going to buy a property and let's say somebody's actually upsizing, perhaps their family's growing, they've got a 2-bedroom house and they want to go to a 3-bedroom house, then they want to get as much money as they possibly can for their house to sell so they can buy on a bigger property that's going to cost them more. So it's unlikely that they're going to sell their property at a discount, which is what you're looking for as an investor. However, someone downsizing may be in a different boat. They may go from a 3-bedroom to a 2-bedroom, or a 5-bedroom to a 3-bedroom. They don't need as much money to buy that property because it's cheaper than the property they've got already. Somebody that needs to sell quickly, maybe they're moving out of the country, they may be open to a deal. Somebody who's looking and facing repossession, or someone who's facing debt collectors, those kind of things, they may need to move quickly and may be able to accept enough money to cover their mortgages and their debts, and still it be a lower price than you want to pay for it on the market. So all those kind of things, you need the agent to work with you. And there's various ways you can build up rapport with that agent. Now, as I said earlier, 30% of people you'll just get on with. They'll just be fine. You'll both get on well, and that's a great start. Other things that you can do to build up the rapport, perhaps with the rest that you haven't got in the 30%, that's the ones that are either here or there, is that you might want to try and build some kind of friendship with them. I'm not talking about being fake or laughing at every joke they say, or just being overly interested in what they've got to say. It's about being you, genuinely being you, and genuinely finding some kind of enjoyment out of working with that person. Good friendships are really important. And one of the biggest things you can do, and you can show that you're going to do what you say you're going to do. Even from the start, I would always say a great agent works out to be an even better agent once you've bought something from them and they've seen the process and that you are who you say you are. You're going to buy that property. You buy that property. It's all gone through smoothly, no problems. Or even if there are hiccups along the way, you've dealt with them together. They think, wow, that person, I can work with them all day long. Now, if you haven't bought something with somebody yet, you can still show that commitment and that actual professionalism by saying, if you're going to call someone on a certain day around about a certain time, you call that person on a certain day at a certain time. If you're going to pop in and say, I'm going to pop in and see you, you make sure you pop in and see them. These are things that when you say you're going to do them, you do them, you follow through. That gives a great strength of rapport and relationship building, because how many times have you spoken to somebody and they say they're going to call you tomorrow and they haven't called you tomorrow? What does that make you feel like? You think, oh, it's a waste of time. She's a waste of time. I can't be bothered with them. But when they do call you, you think, well, you might not even think it. You just think, oh, great, they've called me, but they do as they say they're going to do. And I know I can work with that person. Remember also, it's really, really important to listen to what the agents are saying to you. A lot of the time we talk and talk and talk because perhaps we're in a situation where we're a little bit nervous and we think that talking makes it easier for us to get through that scenario. But you've got to be the other way around. You've got to explain what you are looking for, but you've also got to be able to listen to what they're saying back to you. So with the things that we're interested in, why are the people selling? Are there other properties coming on the market? The agent might let you know that they deal with other investors, and what they do is they show you the properties before they hit the market. So they can, one, make a really good impression on their vendor to say, look, I've sold your property before we even got it on the market. And two, they can get someone like you who's going to buy the property and not mess them around, and is going to buy the property at the price that you both need. And it's a kind of a win-win situation for everybody there. The seller gets the price they want. The agent looks amazing to the seller. The agent also has a great person on the other end who's going to buy it and not mess them about, and they're going to get their commission or whatever it is that they're going to achieve personally from that sale with you. So listen to what they've got to say, because sometimes you might also be talking about one particular property that you just can't get the price right for you. So the vendor just can't accept any less than whatever it is that you're offering. But they might say, hang on, we've got another one very similar down the road. Great agents I've worked with, when I've gone to view one or two properties with them, I've turned up with keys for other properties that haven't quite hit the market yet, or have been hanging around, and they've said, I've got these other properties, Neil, do you want to come and have a look at these ones? Because they fit what you're looking for. That is amazing, because you've turned up to look at maybe two or three properties, suddenly you've got another two or three to look at, and the agents know what you're looking for, and they could be ideal. And they also know that the seller might take a particular hit on that. One of the ways you can explain or maybe help you get your point across about what it is you're looking for when you're looking at working with an agent is you can create something called a hunting brief. So the hunting brief is something that you just create. It basically lists the kind of thing you're looking for. There, you can put some pictures on there, you can put a bit about yourself and contact details. It's like a big business card. If you want an example of that, just message me, send me your email address or whatever, and I'll send you an example of a hunting brief so you can see the kind of thing that you can offer. Now, what you would do is when you're sitting there and your agent, first time you got an agent's going to get on his computer and he's going to say, okay, so what's your budget? What are you looking for? All these kind of questions. Well, you can say, oh, hang on a minute, here's an information, all the information that you need, because they'll want your email address, they'll want your phone number, they'll want to know if you're going to sell something. All that kind of information can be on that bit of paper, which you can hand to them, which gets them easily to put onto their computer. But then you can get past that painful sort of session of typing everything in the computer. You're waiting for them to type it in. You can then get down to the nitty gritty and finding out about other properties. So hunting brief, if you want an example, just drop me a message or send me an email at neil@cleverpropertyinvesting.co.uk, and I'll fire you a copy of that example of that hunting brief. So the last couple of things I want to really touch on here is bad tenants. There are not bad tenants, bad agents. There are bad agents out there. Now, we've all come across them. We've kind of, walked into an agency and we felt a little bit uncomfortable. They've been a bit rude. They've been a bit off with you. Maybe they don't return your calls. That's frustrating, or they don't reply to your emails when you try to email them. How many times have you phoned an agent about a property? Perhaps you've put an offer in on. They've not got back to you. They promise they're going to get back to you tomorrow. They haven't got back to you tomorrow. All these kind of things are going on, and you get a real feeling about that agent. They're bad agents. Now, that agent could actually turn out to be your best agent ever, or one of the best scenarios that you can work with. Why would I say that? Why would I say that? Bill, here's an example for you, an example that I've actually had. I've walked in when I was doing an area not so long ago, quite a while ago, when I started up. I was going into this office pretty much every week, and I was going in to get property viewings or going in to put offers in to talk to the agents. Now, the manager in that agent was a lady, which I won't tell you her name in case she's out there still. And she was kind of a bit of a strange character. I could walk in there one day and she treated me as if I was a best friend. Brilliant. Hi, Neil, how you doing? Come sit down, have a cup of coffee, have a cup of tea. What are we looking at? And sometimes I'd walk in there and she'd be really rude. And she'd say, what do you want? Oh, I'm not looking at them stupid properties. We're not accepting stupid offers off you again, and all this kind of thing. Now, most of the time, whenever I spoke to anybody else that talked to her, they found her quite rude and quite off-putting, and didn't want to work with that agent, didn't want to go in that office because of the rudeness that she was doing. And I saw that and I thought, no, what you've got to think is, this agent has got properties that I want to look at. They're in my strategy. They're in the categories I'm looking for. And I have to go into that agency and I have to try and get to view those properties no matter what, regardless of whether she tells me to get lost, sling my hook and get out the door, which she has said in stronger words than that. But I still need to go there. So I'll go back and back and back and I'll keep going. And eventually I'll get looking at properties and I'll see the properties I want to do. Now, there was one particular time where I went in and she told me to get out, get out the office. You put in stupid office. That was on a particular week, let's say week 1. Week 2, she phoned me up and she goes, that property you looked at? I said, yeah. If you put in this offer, which was below what I put in. So let's say, for example, let's have some numbers on there. So I looked at a property and it was on the market for about 70. I put an offer in of 50. She told me to get lost. She says, no way that they're going to take that 50, get out the office, you stupid idiot, that kind of scenario. The next week she phoned me up and she said, Neil, if you put in an offer of 48,500, you could have that property if you come in and exchange this week with us. And I went, what's happened there then? She said, it's a property that was being sold because the person has gone into a home. They were selling the property to pay for the care fees, etc., etc. But the person has just died. And if we can sell it before it goes into probate, it's going to be quicker than waiting another 6 months before we can sell the property. And I know they'll accept 48,500. So I went in, I exchanged, and I bought that property that week. So it kind of surprised me a little bit because this woman was really rude. But because I was going in every week, and sometimes she was nice, sometimes she was rude, sometimes she was okay, that actually turned out to be one of the best agents that I worked with. Later on, she moved on and she left, but I had another lady in that agency that we worked really closely with. And one of the things you must always, always do is say thank you. Now, I know agents are there, it's their job to sell properties, they get a commission sometimes, it's their whole business that they've got to sell those properties for their clients. And it's not always great to just think, well, that's their job, whatever. Whenever I bought a property or whenever I got an offer accepted, I would walk in with a bottle of bubbly and a box of chocolates and a thank you card for the whoever it was I dealt with. And I would give them, so the chocolates they could share in the office, the bottle of bubbly could go to the actual agent that did the work and say thank you. And that is brilliant. Just to say thank you to somebody. How many times have you felt you're doing stuff and you're working, and every now and again somebody says thank you, I really appreciate what you've just done for me? It makes you feel nice, it makes you feel good. Yes, it's your job and yes, you're supposed to do it anyway, but someone saying thank you really does make a big difference. So remember that when you're working with an agent and when you're doing those kind of things, just to say thank you. So that's a very brief introduction into working with agents, which is part of the 2-day training course that you would need to go on to learn about all this kind of thing if you were learning to get investment in properties, which Clever Property do provide. And also we provide coaching, mentoring services, which is why these questions have come out for clients. These are things that they really want to know about. So I hope that's been really useful. Also, if you wanted to have a chat with me, you can book in my calendar on the Contact Us page, book in a 15-minute slot and see if property investing is for you, see if working with us is for you, because obviously you need to work with a person. Just like you build a rapport with an agent, you need to build rapport with your coach, mentor and trainer, so you learn much better with people that you enjoy working with and have fun and enjoyment. It's Neil Stewart from Clever Property Investing. Have a fabulous day. Take care.